Yeah, I'm gonna hold it.
Check 1, 2.
I can put on a show, but I can't sing.
Our last open micer is actually something different. He is in community. So I'm ready to work day Hey, thank you. Nice meeting you, everybody. You guys having a good night tonight? All right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but is anybody else cold? I didn't realize like how cold it got during the fall. I'm freezing over here, man. I know he's cold over there. He's got a whole jacket on right now. Like, it's so cold. It kind of reminds me of my parents' affection growing up. I don't know if you guys had hard parents like that. You know, we're like, hey, you look cuter when you don't talk. All right? Hey, if anyone asks, you're my nephew, because he might be your future stepdad. You know, something like that. Now, I grew up from a single Latino mom, right? And I don't know if you guys know how they are, but they're pretty intense people. You get them mad, and they'll just let you have it, basically. Right? Now, it was rough because I kind of lacked common sense. Actually, I still do. I don't know if you guys heard the term, but you've heard common sense isn't common, you're born with it, right? Yeah. Well, I'm a living proof of that. I've never been born with it. I'm still going through it, where I do things kind of like questionable, like, is this guy like on the spectrum or is he not? I can't really tell, you know? Give you an example, when I was like in school, I had a bad habit when I wore my backpack, I'd have my thumbs in the hole of the string and I'd just be chilling like there. And apparently, having the T-Rex arms is a sign of being on the spectrum. So every time I would walk by the hallway, the special ed teacher would just give me this really depressing look like, bless your heart. Good morning, Angel. I'm like, yeah, what's up, Miss Annie? How you doing? And I'm just walking with the little T-Rex hands over there. And the reason why I question that is because my siblings are autistic, right? My brother and my sister are on my dad's side. And I tell my dad, like, hey, are you sure, like, you guys, tested me out? Like, no, yeah, we had you tested. You just have ADHD. Like, oh, cool. Oh, wait. You guys tested me. That's really depressing to hear, you know? It's almost worse than like when your mom tells you, like, I should have swallowed, man, I had a chance. I didn't need to know that information. I don't even know how to get that on you. Alright? Now, the reason why you guys are like probably thinking like, damn, like, your parents are pretty vulgar. Well, I was an awful kid growing up, right? I was 6 years old when I learned how to extort and, extort people, you know? So I used to be chilling inside the car while my mom goes like nightclubbing, right? So every song that came out in the 90s and 2000s, I knew it by heart at the age of 6. So whenever she like brought a dude to take her home, he's like, what's with the kid? And mind you, my mom had mad red flags. And these guys didn't care because she was a pretty lady. So he's like, what's with the kid? Oh, that's my nephew. I'm just babysitting him right now. You know? So whenever she would leave to go get something, as soon as it's just me and the guys, like, hey, if you don't give me $5, I'll tell her you hit me. And he's like, what's with this kid? And it's like, hey, she's coming. What's it gonna be? And he slips me, instead of a 5, he'll give me a 10, but okay, cool, I got you. And then, we'll go home, she tells me to go like, to my room, whatever. And I'm like, hey, that's guy number 5, whatever. I made a lot of money off of her adventures, She was pretty crazy. She never had to drink. She was just naturally wild. But she would pull dudes like nothing, right? And here I am, like, growing out soon. I'm like, dude, I don't have that kind of riz, man. Like, she's very charismatic. I didn't get those genes. I just got my dad's height, the Lord Farquaad hairdo, and that's about it, But I would do a lot of things to, like, really piss her off. Specifically my grandfather, though. So it's a whole line of, like, really bad kids. Because I don't know if any of you guys have seen Hey Arnold or, I wouldn't say Matilda, but Haunted Mansion. You know how those really big, tall manors? Well, there was like 20 of us living in its home, right? And it was like a small little Hey Arnold style home. And we're a whole bunch of immigrants. I didn't know this. I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm Honduran, right? So I don't look like I'm related to my family. You got dark, brown, light skin, and then the printer runs out of ink once I'm born, you know? Like, every time I go out, oh my God, someone call ICE. This Honduran lady just kidnapped this white boy. You know, I'd be like disappearing in the photos. But I'm literally like in my grandparents' home, you know, 15 of us, technically middle class, but not really because all of us equated to a family of 3 that's in middle class. It was like 15 to 20 of us working hard, you know? But yeah, so one day, my grandfather, he's working pretty late supposedly. That was the plan. He was gonna tell my grandma, hey, I'm coming home late. I gotta go do this upholstery thing. I'll be back. And the layout of our home, right? Just to kind of give you a glimpse of this story. The really creepy basement, we turned into an apartment. So 4 of our cousins lived down there. Right? My cousin Erica, her husband, her 3 kids, and her sister. The middle floor. One of the living rooms was split in half and converted into the master bedroom, and then you got the little ghetto-looking room, and a small little room that, like, I think my cousin Cindy lived in, and then my mom and I shared a bed and a room in there because we were broke. Actually, she made good money. She was a paralegal, but she was financially irresponsible, man. She would spend money on stupid stuff. You know, so we're living there, little tiny kitchen. Upstairs is my Aunt Claudia, you know, Mauricio and all them with like their 2 kids or whatever. But no one's in the house. Everyone's out. It's just me, my cousin Sasa. He's like 3 years old, right? Grandmother's cooking arroz frijoles, right? She's just chilling, cooking, making fritas too with it. And I got bored of watching Barney because that's the only thing we had on. We didn't have cable. We had that free stuff going on, right? And that really huge, like, not a flat screen, but it's a big blocky TV where you're like watching football and stuff back in the early 90s. Well, I got bored of that. And I went to the one room that was off limits, my grandparents' room, because he had a nice collection of radios, watches, and these like Mexican boots, you know, like the pointy ones, like really pointy, and they're like made of leather. He loved that for some reason. I'll try them on occasionally when he wasn't looking, so I wouldn't get my butt whooped. But I snuck in there, and I started playing with his watches, right? You're not supposed to. Think of Indiana Jones, like, you touch it, you die, basically, right? But I said, you know what? I don't believe in rules. You know, I'm my own man. 7 years old, no one tells me what to do. I got this, right? And I'm going in there, I'm sneaking, right? No one's there, no one's watching. So I'm going in there. I'm playing with the watch, put it on, and like, oh yeah, it's no longer half-past skin. I got a Rolex, or at least a bootleg version. You know, I'm pretty sure you got it from a van somewhere. Playing with it, I switch on the other one, I'm like, oh damn. You can say I'm from Gallifrey, because I'm a real Time Lord now, you know? I can time travel, you know, tell the clock, you know? But the problem with playing with all these watches and you're a child is you're not very careful, you're kind of lost in the moment. So as I'm putting it back, so I don't get caught, I drop his favorite watch. It is gold, it's got diamonds on it, right? I'm pretty sure they were fake diamonds though, because with how much we were making, it definitely was not real, right? But I drop it, the glass breaks, and I'm panicking, right? All you hear is basically like Kill Bill music, you know, the that scene right there when she's about to die. So I'm like, oh God, all right, what's gonna happen? So instead, I put my Tom Cruise face on. I'm like, all right, dun, 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 dun. I put it in perfectly. I put it right around the little wrist holder, close the glass jar that it was in. And then, as I'm doing that, I'm gonna play with his boots real quick, you know, because like, he's not gonna find out, he's just an old guy. What does he know, right? Well, as soon as I'm playing with his boots, all you hear is the car door close. And he's a very thin wall, so I knew it was him, because he likes to slam his door, man. So as he's coming up to this house, he's like, oye, Zoila, where's my food? And I was like, oh, snap. He's here. I shut these puppies off, put them in there, and I book it into the living room and turn on Barney while my cousin's house is just chilling there. And I'm playing it cool, man. I'm sweating a little bit. I got my weird little bowl haircut, like a wannabe cholo. I'm sitting there, and he goes in there, takes his shoes off, goes into the room, dead silent. hijo de la gran puta, Angel, which is my name, Angel, in Spanish, right? He doesn't know a lick of English. And he's like, how did you lose me, man? Like, I'm just playing it cool, nice. He's like, what did you do? I know this was you. You broke the watch, didn't you? Like, no, it was not. It was Sasa, man. You see how he is? He's the one that broke it. He played, I didn't do. I swear to God. I swear to my mom, I didn't do anything. Who's he gonna believe? That a 2-year-old did this, or the kid that's known to climb up things and get stuck and break things? Yeah, no, he definitely believed it. So, oh, you think that was a game? Gets the belt. He's like, nah, screw this. You need to learn a lesson. He does like a whole drop kick, like, bam, hey, told you not to touch my stuff. And it was like, when I tell you, when I get nervous, I have a big smile. It doesn't help, because I smile and I laugh when I'm very nervous. So I'm antagonizing the situation. So he goes like, oh, you think this is funny? He picks me up like he's Big Show from WWE. Or, if you guys like WWF, Andre the Giant. So he'll go like, all right, you think this is a joke? I'm on the second floor right now, and he's carrying me up, spinning me around, about to chuck me out the window of the 2th floor. But then all you hear, right, is like commotion. My grandmother's, stop, Leonidas, quit it. And then my mom comes in, like Rey Mysterio or John Cena, if you're a fan of that, and you hear da 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 da, and she just barges in there, jumps on him, and starts whamming on his back. It's like, the only person who's gonna show my kid these hands is me. Bam, bam, doesn't faze this guy. He's like a tank. He grabs her and tosses her like he's a freaking rag doll, and she just flies, man. It was magnificent. I know it's an intense situation, but to see an old guy just chuck her with one hand, that's some wild stuff, man. And so he turns around like, you think you're the exception? You're gonna get a spanking too. And as he does, I don't know why he stops. I think it's because she's the favorite. You know, Disney knows she's a favorite. She ruined his credit score so bad, and he still buys her stuff. So he stops midway. He's like, you know what? Not even worth it. I'm walking away. I'm grateful kids in this house. And as she gets up, she's like, okay, that was close. Wait, mijo, are you good? You don't scratch up? I'm like, yeah, that was the coolest thing. I just jumped up there and said, oh, you think this is funny? I told you not to mess with him. But it was worth it, was it? No. And she finishes the job and basically puts me like a Stone Cold Stunner, basically, and knocks me out. And I'm like, man, you think I know by now, but that was still one of my favorite experiences as a kid. And I'm still smiling because I've never seen my mom like fight like that. And I knew she'll defend you, right? Because this one time I was talking to this girl in kindergarten or whatever. It can't be preschool because I got kicked out of 30 acres. But it was like kindergarten or something like that. And I was talking to her asking for a pen. And my teacher was crazy, right? So I asked her like, hey, you have pen and paper? It's like, Mr. Guy, I told you not to talk. So she gets up and then walks up right behind me and grips my sideburn. It's like, I told you. Now, this didn't fly by with my mom. She did not. Mama bear said I come out, but she's pregnant with my little sister in her stomach. So all these hormones are going wild right now, right? She's like, ooh, I'm heated, I'm tight, right? You don't mess with mom from Jersey. She goes, talks to the teacher, like, you do this? I'm like, yeah, he was acting up. Oh, you don't do that. She grabs the computer, and this, my family's freakishly strong. It's so terrifying. She grabbed one of those old Macintosh computers with her hand and launched it across the room at her. She got arrested, but the cops let her go because she had a key or something. They don't mess with a pregnant woman. The other teacher, not only did she get served these hands from my mom, but now the next week at McDonald's, she's serving us a Big Mac. It was the weirdest situation, but it was awesome and well worth it. Now, the reason why I'm telling you is to kind of set the stage of how crazy this woman was, right? Have any of you guys ever had to deal with a Hispanic woman? None? None whatsoever? You're lucky, right? I grew up with them. Terrifying. So, I'm running late for school. I'm like 12 years old. Knowing full well she's running late because, like I said, she's a paralegal. But this time we moved to Florida years later because we got tired of the cold, you know. And she's like, listen, this is my first week of work. you need to hurry up. And I'm like, okay, I am. Just let me grab my backpack, okay? But no, I'm serious. I will hit you if you don't hurry up. At the time, she was driving a Ford Explorer. I'm like, she doesn't have the time to get out the car and hit me. So she's not going to do anything. So I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm coming into the car. And you hear the old Olympics music. And I'm saying this to her too. Like, I swear to God, hurry up. I'm coming as fast as I can. Without skipping a beat, she pulls the Ford Explorer in reverse and hits me with the hood of the car. I go flying, right? Like a frisbee. And so that was a chubby kid. I had a lot of blood on me, so I bounced off and came back up. And I was exploring my options to aggravate my mom, and she hit me with a Ford, right? So that whole irony did not dodge me after getting rammed, right? It's crazy. Other time I aggravated her, and we were in a car, right? Driving 55 miles per hour on, I want to say it's a Buckman Bridge, Jacksonville, Florida, right? And I was still pretty fat, you know, and I'm like, hey, you said we were gonna get Dunkin', right? I'm in the front seat, like, let's go get Dunkin', because like, I'm hungry, and you promised, like, no, I said that so you can hurry up, because you're always late every time we go somewhere. No, I'm just on my own time. There's a difference. I'm never late. It's fashionably late. But you said we're gonna get Dunkin', right? Because we will split it. No, we're not gonna get it because I'm late and you're late. We gotta go. Come on. You promised. Yeah, that was a lie. So my thing is, I know what really ticks her off, and I like to push her buttons because even though she loves Disney, she hates Mickey's voice. Right? She hates Kermit the Frog too, and he's not even Disney, but I love to voice that. So I go, oh boy, Mom, why can't I have a corn muffin? And she's like, I swear to God, don't you dare. Oh, please, Mom, let me say I have a corn muffin. Oh, please, help me out over here. Go feed me. Hey, Mickey, how's it going? And it's going on for like a good 5 minutes. And I'm like, well, Leslie, and you should never call your mom her first name, but I did it anyway. It's like, well, Leslie, you told us a whole corn muffin. Yeah, you sure did. And she just loses it, man. Like, she was dead serious. Like, she didn't stop the car, nothing. We're still going 55. She unlocks the car. And she, I don't know, have you guys seen 300? Yeah? Anyone? Right? So she basically, like, takes her shoe off, takes her shoe out, and goes, this is Sparta! And kicks me out the door, and I just fly out the door while we're on the bridge still. Didn't even stop. And that day I didn't learn a hard lesson. Sometimes you just need to roll with it, you know? Now, you know how I mentioned I was a bad kid? Those are the prime examples. But turns out she was also a bad child growing up too. And as an adult, because you know how she's like the favorite of my grandfather? We've had 8 different vehicles in my timeline. Like, up until the day she died, 8 different vehicles. And it is first one was like Ford Expedition, then it was like a Jeep Cherokee, and then of course that Ford Explorer later. I don't remember the other ones, but she crashed every single one of them using my grandfather's credit score. And he just said, screw it, you're my little princess, let's go ahead and do it. Now my cousin Thea, she got like scraps or whatever. Destroyed every single car, got a new home, and she bailed out. And I'm like, damn. So this is where I get it, because her nickname was El Huracán, right? Which means hurricane. My brother and I, right, we were called terremotos, which is the earthquakes, right? So everywhere we go, we'd be messing things up. We'd be going to like Chuck E. Cheese. I'd be fighting some other kids. We'd be going over here, and like her biggest threat was always, you want to go to the bathroom? No. And if you don't know this, most Hispanic moms in the early 2000s, the bathroom was where you're going to get the chancla, right? You just, start spanking you over that. And I grew to call the bathroom home. Home away from home. Because I did not listen. Didn't really care. Everything's more fun when you get people mad, because I'm a natural devil's advocate, right? But all those times, I knew better and I chose to ignore because I didn't have common sense. I always thought it was going to be a different scenario, and it was the definition of insanity. You do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Nah, it's the same result. So, years later, I'm 24, so this is like 5 years ago. Like how I told you, I'm still learning common sense. Not knowing it. Tell me why it took me 24 years to find out Jersey wasn't a city, right? I was born and raised in Union City, New Jersey, otherwise known as West New York, right? Concrete jungle, beautiful, everything's around the corner. You want food close? Right there, right? It wasn't until when I'm in Fort Huachuca, right, Arizona, because I was like in the Army at the time, and I met someone from Jersey, and she was telling me, yeah, I'm from Jersey. I'm like, oh, cool, what part? You want to Bergen? What? It's like, I'm from some weird Hicksville, I forgot the name of it. And I'm like, what's that? It's like, yeah, you know, we had a farm, like, I got cocky with it. I'm like, you do know there's no farms in Jersey, right? We don't have any grass. Are you dumb? Well, it turns out I was the dumb one. Because she looks at me the same way that special ed teacher looked at me as a kid. Bless your heart. Why do you think it's called the Garden State? Right? It's like, I don't know. Like, they like planting flowers? Where do you think that is? I don't know. Well, it turns out when you get out of Union City, it's not just a concrete jungle like the PowerPoint girls. It's actually like a whole bunch of farmland and power plants. Never paid attention to that. You know how dumb I felt? I'm a grown-ass man, repping Jersey the whole time, and I don't even know my own state. The only thing I do know is that the Giants play there because New York doesn't have their own stadium. Man, I was aggravated. I'm like, dude, I really just ate my own foot over here. And it's not the first time or the last time I'm ever gonna do that, because I don't know about you guys. Do you guys like to gamble? Anyone? Go gambling a little bit? Well, when I was, so you know, I told you I was in the Army down in Arizona. I like to go to the border because they would do a lot of cockfights there. And I would put a lot of money. I would win all the time, you know what I mean? Enjoy cockfights, man. It was crazy. And I got people throwing money, going crazy, getting drinking. Well, years later, I found out there's a place that does it here in the countryside. It's like over in Suffolk. And when I got into the ring and they brought an actual chicken out, I was shocked because that is not what I was thinking at the time. You know, so this whole time I was not doing actual cockfighting, I guess. So I just walked out, but I'm not about to be pecked by a chicken. So that was one thing right there. Other time, when I got cancer, you know, I thought it was a nut allergy I was having, you know, because I'm like, ooh, I feel weird, you know. I don't know what it is, so I was with my ex-wife at the time. She took me to the oncologist. And I don't know if you guys been to like an oncologist, but it's weird. You got like private areas everywhere. It's very uncomfortable. And he looks at me and he's like, hey, you know how I told you it looks like an apple?
No.
And it tastes like an apple. And you've got an apple, right? I'm like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I remember that. Well, unfortunately, you got an apple. I'm sorry. I'm really not understanding what you're telling me. I know you said the analogy, but you gotta break it to me for yourself. And he had the longest sigh I've ever heard a grown man do. Like, he's like, this is the reason why I drink at home. Unfortunately, you had testicular cancer. And we gotta do a biopsy next week. And my ex-wife is like panicking. She's scared. Like, oh my God, are you okay, sweetheart? Didn't even faze me. I wasn't even concerned about cancer or chemo, nothing. The only thing in my head was I got a jar in my bedroom, and I look at him straight in the eye with excitement, like, hey, can I keep it afterwards so I can show it off at work? And he's like, no, okay, because the process of a biopsy is, think of Hell's Kitchen chopping an onion, but the only one that's crying is going to be you, right? And he was right, you know, that was, afterwards I was crying out. I mean, even though they did take my left testicle out, it's okay, I'm all right. And now, whenever I do go shopping, like to go to Aldi's, I have a available bag down there, so I can just put like, hey, let me get this spare watch I broke from my grandpa's room. Let me get some fresh pears down there. Okay. I'm ready to check out, you know. That's cool. I know if I ever fall out of a plane, I can just stretch it out and use it like a parachute, like stuff like that. Another perk to it though, I lost 10 pounds immediately after the surgery. It was wild. Very excited. The other pro is now that I have, now that they took it out, whenever I put pants on, it's like a fancy hotel. I got all this volume to go dancing. You know, it's crazy. I did ask him if they had warmers as prosthetics, and apparently that's not a thing. I did ask if you can put like a jingle bell down there, so if I'm going jogging during Christmas, it's a little festive, and it's me coming to town, and I'm saying, yeah. He was like, you got some issues you gotta talk to, man. I'm like, oh, trust me, don't we all? He's like, no, we got some more issues really underlying. Now, a bit of a hypochondriac. You guys know what that is? Good. So basically, so you know, for those who don't, hypochondriacs, they believe they have every disease in the world. You get sick, they get, you know, crazy. So the moment I found out I had a, what do you call it? What's it called? Strep throat, yeah. I got strep throat for the first time. And I'm panicking, so I'm looking up all the symptoms. And for some reason, I thought I had Ebola, because I thought those were the symptoms, and I'm freaking out. And my ex-wife's like, dude, you just got the man flu, you need to calm down. I'm like, no, it says it right there. Crazy sweating, you know, weird bumps. And it's just because I'm breaking out in hives because I'm panicking. And turns out it's just because like I got really large tonsils and it was getting infected. So when they took that out, I got some ice cream, gained a little bit of weight, you know. But never had to deal with the tonsils anymore. Except for the week after the procedure. Her and I are going shopping. And this is how I feel like I have some kind of autism or something, because I do little T-Rex things too when I talk. And I don't look at people's eyes too much. Once I'm on stage, I'm in person, and I can't speak. So I'm doing like a Stephen Hawking, like, hello everybody, I'm Joel. It's an app, like it's somebody talking to a robot. So I typed that for her, I'm like, hey, can we get to your seat? It's like, yeah, of course, sweetheart. Thank you. And there's like this old white lady just walks up. Again, the same look that special ed teacher gave me as a kid. You guys are such a sweet couple. And walks away. And then I just look at her, my ex-wife. It's like, did she just? Yeah, she thinks she's special. I mean, no, my mom's not special. No, this time, please. Now, yeah, it's like, really made a mistake wearing these long sleeves because I was freezing out there and now I'm out over here. The reason why I'm a little pale is because like my Argentinian side. But you know, I didn't really know I was Hispanic growing up. Even though I spoke it and I was around it, in like Hoboken and like New York City, it's nothing but Hispanic. So I've never met like another black person or another white person. Until later, when I got older, I was more multicultural and met a lot of other people. Okay, cool. I didn't know anything about my background because I thought we were all from Jersey. Like I said, I didn't know Jersey was not a city. Just tell me something. What do you guys know about Jersey? And don't say Jersey Shore because that's kind of a given. Nothing, right? You just know it's dirty Jersey. Right?
I went to Rutgers, man.
Yeah. The only thing I know about Jersey now is that, yeah, it is the state and Frank Sinatra's from there. I like to do his songs. But the day I found out my backstory was the first 2 months I got married. And I married a white girl, right? You know, snow bunnies are my weakness. And my grandmother and my aunt came to visit with my cousin Lila. And they looked at Brittany. They're like, hey, yeah, so a little bit about us. We're a bunch of space. Like, whoa, Thea, you can't be saying stuff like that. I mean, you make it uncomfortable. And it turns out that I'm a Spanish person in custody. My whole family was in custody 3 times before the 4th was through like a work visa. And this is important. The first time was through, I want to say it was like a man, hitting puberty already. The first time was a van, right? They came over, and immediately, dogs sniffed them out, booked them back. The second time was like a semi-truck or something, and they still get caught at not even 5 minutes passing the border. But the third time, which is my favorite one, is where they're hiking, they're walking all these miles, and my grandpa really loves to brag about this. They really just trekked that whole mile. It was my aunts, my uncle, and my mom of all people. She was a 1-year-old. My grandpa's spanking her butt in the process because she's crying. Well, obviously she's a baby, she's really crying. But they go into a Motel 6. They last there for 6 days before they get snitched on by some lady. And then ICE just breaks in and reports them. And of course the fourth time was the whole work visa. The reason why I say this is because my grandma had an alternate motive in visiting me. It was one, to visit my wife, and two, to cross the border, but the right way. And you already did it. And since I was in the Army, I wasn't allowed to go to the border. We were very restricted from going there. So they just basically disappeared at 5 in the morning, and I didn't hear from them until 1 in the morning the next day. And my grandma doesn't know English. My aunt, she sounds like she just jumped the border. My cousin Lala, she looks like it. She speaks really, she's me. We're American. And I'm panicking, I'm freaking out because I'm like, I'm not even allowed to go there, I can't bail you out. And she drove through the border, came back 5 minutes later, they got pulled over for a little bit because they thought it was like drug related, the border control guys. And my aunt was just like, no, I just remember coming through here 40 years ago, I wanted to reenact it. And he just laughed, like, you have issues, right? This old lady can't even speak anything. She's just looking at me nervously. And then they released her. And they told me what happened. And I'm like, you do realize I would not be able to save you if that happened, right? And what throws me off is, granted, being a second-generation immigrant, my mom didn't care, right? Because she was the first one. She was from Honduras, San Pedro, a very dangerous place. She was a baby. She was really quick. I remember she got in an argument with my grandparents. I will call ICE on me if you keep this up, which is really dumb because she's an immigrant herself. It doesn't make sense. How do you know your birth certificate's real? I don't even know if mine's real because it literally looks like a piece of paper and smudged. So it might be forged, who knows? I don't know. But I'm lucky so far, right? It helps that I can speak Spanish, and then when I had a goatee, I looked like my cousin Jesus, right? Whenever I shaved and I was overweight and had my hair pulled and I'd be sweating, every time I went to work, I got mistaken for an overweight woman lactating because there was always like a bunch of sweat on the man who was man. So one of the new employees was like, excuse me, man, lactation's room over there. Dude, I'm just fat, man. Leave me that alone and I go, do my job. So I'm glad I'm losing all this weight, right? Because, lifting weights more, I lost 50 pounds since April. And it's great because I'm feeling the muscle coming in. Can't see it well, but I'm saving so much money because now I no longer have to buy bras for my back, right? You heard of the term ass backwards? Well, I was a man who was tits backwards, right? Going everywhere. Now, I am also saving money because, I don't have to buy it for my wife anymore either. But at the same time, I save a lot of myself, right? We got a tattoo on Freddy here. He's smiling. 5 Nights at Freddy's, the video game. He used to smile when I was slim, but ever since I gained the weight and now everything's saggy, he looks like he's frowning. So I gotta get, lift more weight so he can go back to smiling again. Good job, buddy. There's a few other scenarios. This one time, I was about 15, I want to say, and my brother, he was like still like a little baby. He was like learning how to potty train or whatever. We lost him. We're all there trying to kill a pig in the backyard so we can go cook it. And I know it's a little weird to do. It's Florida. What can I tell you? We got alligators all over the place. And he just disappears. He likes to just run off on things. And I'm there having to use the bathroom. Everyone's panicking. My grandma's having a heart attack. She looks like she's gonna pass out. And I go into the bathroom and I see him there in the dark, just taking a little swim in the toilet, playing with his feet. You know how excited he was when he was like, "Oh my God, Angel, look what I can do! I'm playing with this one." Yeah. and I have to use the bathroom. He's like, you're taken up right now. This is the only one we have. Right? So I had to clean him up and clean it out. I had to hold it until they can clean it up. And he was just a little character on his own, right? We're basically Dumb and Dumber growing up. Only difference is he actually looks like he's Honduran, and I look like a white kid trying to pretend I'm Hispanic, right? You know, I always, every time I hung out with people, I couldn't really fit in everywhere, you know? The Hispanics, they would call me güero, which means white boy. Black kids would tell me to go back to the country. Asian guys would tell me I'm uncooked rice. I don't know what that means. So I took a lot of like insults growing up. Some of the things I don't really know what they mean to this day. But the one thing you always fit in were like those weird little, you know, the way you had to do is just put some like color in your hair and dress up, and then bam, you're good to go, right? It was easier pulling tricks out of it. And I still did not quite fit in. So as I'm getting older, and I'm like, I'm trying to be myself, and I go visit my grandparents as an adult, this is what actually caused the whole weight loss journey. I was talking to my grandfather back in April, and he's like, damn, you got bigger breasts than the rest of the women in the home. You're a man, you need to lose your weight. And in 2024, you know, with low self-esteem, you want to be told you're a man, but you don't want to be told that by a guy who's also got big breasts. So it's kind of hypocritical. So I started working out and losing my weight. So that's what the whole journey started, you know. I can finally jump out of a plane jumping, you know. Probably not fly out of any cars because I'm too old for that. I'm about 29 and I feel like I'm 50 because everything cracks and breaks because of Korea. That was wild. What else? Yeah, it's been a ride growing up, honestly. Like, I don't know if you guys actually ever been to like a Hispanic party. They last about 4 days. So since I was a child, I learned how to drink like really heavily. So my cousin and I, they were like getting me drunk at like 17. We were just, you know, BSing. But something happened where I guess I was like really blackout drunk, and I had some issues growing up. But I had a stamp that my mom gave me, which is where the autism thing keeps saying, like, okay, that's a little questionable, but it's probably alcohol. They're chucking it around, I'm trying to find it. Oh, my Cindy, you be missing it. No, I don't got it. And then she has it, like, bro, I'm gonna lose my mind if you don't give me the stamp. So then she gives it to me, right? And he's like, I'm going there, I put it away, and my attitude changes back to normal day. You guys want a screwdriver? I'll make it for you. And she was like, yeah, wait, no, you're not gonna be in here in my house threatening me. You better get the hell out of here. I'm like, okay, fine. Put my shoes on. She has me take your shoes off. You don't walk in my house that way. I'm like, okay, cool. Bet. Still put them on, but I'm petty. So what I end up doing is I do a little twirl, grab my crotch, go, and start moonwalking the whole way out the door, tracking mud. And the whole shocking the whole family is like, I'm guessing that's the, you know, the people. Good night, folks. Have a good night, guys. Yeah, man, I wish I was a little tanner though, because on top of, you know, being crazy growing up, now that I'm really pale, I look like a piece of paper. Every time I go grocery shopping, I get the same reaction when my grandma calls. This old bagger guy, he's like, hey, how's it going? Good day. And I get a call from my grandma talking to her in Spanish, like, hola, vamos a hablar ahorita. And I'm talking about comida. And then I hang up, and his attitude changes, like, whole tone of voice. I was like, bro, you Vince? I thought you like, no, I just know how to coach that shit. You know, I can blend in everywhere. I go to the call center. I'm like, hi, how's it going? I'm ready to meet you. Let me assist you with that. And then when I get off the phone, I sound like a dumbass. You know? What else? Yeah, I've been telling you guys a lot about this, man. This is some wild stuff. How are you guys holding up over there? Yeah? Alright. Well, last thing I guess I gotta say is, you guys like to order coffee, right? Yeah? Well, the reason why I go by AJ is because my name is very difficult to say. Angel. People call me Adrian for some reason. Like it's Rocky, like Adrian. AJ. No, it's not me. I changed to AJ, and somehow they still jack it up, and they say Angie or something weird. But to this day, honestly, I still haven't found my shit. I'm gonna find it, but like with this whole backstory, just like life and my storytelling, unlike me, you can't beat it. Right? You guys have a great day.
Yeah, literally 2 hours left. Good job.